Imaging finding a rare coin so rare it could pay off your house today, we're diving into 10 of the most valuable US coins ever found. Real coins worth hundreds and even millions of dollars or more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next rare find. Let's start this.
But what if one of those tiny copper coins could change your financial story overnight? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American pocket change history, the United States of America 1964 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that might look ordinary, but under the right conditions, can be worth serious money. The year 1964 was a dramatic and historic time in the United States. The country was experiencing social change, economic growth, and technological advancement. At the same time, something unusual was happening with coins. Americans were hoarding silver coins because of rising silver prices, and the U.S. Mint was under enormous pressure to produce more coins for circulation. Billions of pennies were struck that year, and among them were the 1964 D Lincoln cents minted in Denver. Now you might be thinking, if billions were made, how can one possibly be valuable? That's where condition, rarity, and minting characteristics come into play. Let's start with the basics. The 1964 D Lincoln penny features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. His familiar profile face is right, with the words "In God We Trust" above, liberty to the left, and the date 1964 with a small D mint mark below it on the right. That tiny D is incredibly important because it tells us the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. On the reverse, you'll see the classic wheat-free memorial design that was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in the center, with United States of America above and 1 cent below. If you look very closely between the columns of the memorial, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue inside. It's one of the most detailed miniature designs ever placed on a circulating coin. The 1964 D penny was composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This was the final full year before the U.S. Mint began changing metal compositions for other denominations due to rising metal costs. While pennies remained mostly copper until 1982, 1964 marked the end of an era in American coinage history. More than 3 billion 1964 D pennies were minted. That's a massive number. Because of this high mintage, most examples you'll find in circulation are only worth their face value, 1 cent, or slightly more for their copper content. However, this is where the story becomes interesting. Value in coin collecting is not just about how many were made. It's about survival, condition, and errors. Most 1964 D pennies were heavily circulated. They went through decades of transactions, vending machines, cash registers, and piggy banks. Finding one in worn condition is easy. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition with sharp details, blazing red luster, and no contact marks is a completely different challenge. Coin collectors grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. A coin graded MS65 or MS66 is considered gem quality. When you start getting into MS67 and beyond, you are entering elite territory. Only a very small percentage of coins survive in that level of preservation. For the 1964 D penny, the highest grade examples are extremely rare. These coins must have nearly perfect surfaces, vibrant original red color, and strong strike details. Even the slightest blemish can reduce the grade. Because billions were produced quickly to meet demand, quality control wasn't always perfect. Many coins show weak strikes or minor imperfections. This means that truly exceptional examples are much harder to find than the mintage number suggests. Then, there are mint errors, and this is where collectors get really excited. Some 1964 D pennies exhibit double dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, or die cracks. While most are minor and add only modest premiums, dramatic error coins can command significant prices. For example, a strong double die on the obverse can show noticeable doubling in the date or lettering. Off-center strikes can create a visually dramatic look. Even subtle variations in the D-mint mark placement can intrigue specialists. But the real treasure lies in top-graded specimens certified by professional grading services. When a coin is authenticated and encapsulated with a high mint state grade, it enters a completely different market. Wealthy collectors compete for the finest known examples, driving prices to astonishing levels. Imagine holding a 1964 penny that looks like it was struck yesterday. Full red color, razor-sharp details, and virtually flawless surfaces. That kind of coin is not found in pocket change. It's discovered in old bank rolls, forgotten collections, or preserved by someone who recognized its beauty decades ago. One such extraordinary example reached an astonishing value of $46,273. Yes, a single penny. This incredible price reflects not just the coin itself, but its condition, rarity at the highest grade, and demand among advanced collectors. It proves that even a coin produced in the billions can become a rare treasure if preserved in extraordinary condition. Now you might be wondering, could you have one? It's possible. Many people still search through rolls of pennies from banks, estate sales, and old coin jars. While the odds of finding a top-rated gem are slim, discovering an uncirculated 1964 penny with bright red luster is not impossible. The key is knowing what to look for. First, check the mint mark. Make sure the small d appears below the date. Examine the coin under good lighting. Look for original mint shine, a cartwheel luster that rotates as you tilt the coin. Avoid coins that are dull brown or heavily scratched if you're hunting for high value. Second, never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys the original surface and drastically reduces value. Even wiping it gently can cause microscopic scratches that grading experts will immediately detect. Third, consider professional grading if you truly believe you have an exceptional specimen. Certification provides authenticity and establishes market trust, which is essential for high-value sales. The 1964 Lincoln penny represents more than just copper and metal. It represents history, craftsmanship, and the hidden potential in everyday objects. It reminds us that value is often determined by preservation and rarity, not just age. Coin collecting is one of the few hobbies where pocket change can become a treasure hunt. Every roll opened carries a sense of possibility. Every shiny coin sparks curiosity. And every rare find tells a story. The next time you receive change at a store, take a closer look before you spend it. That small copper coin might not just be 1 cent. It could be a piece of American history waiting to be discovered. The 1964 Lincoln penny teaches us an important lesson. Sometimes, the most overlooked objects hold the greatest surprises. Billions were made, millions were spent, but only a tiny fraction survived in flawless condition. And somewhere out there, perhaps in a forgotten jar or an old collection, another extraordinary example may still be waiting to be found. So keep searching. Keep learning. Keep looking closely at the details others ignore. In the middle of all that change, the United States Mint produced a simple copper coin that most people never gave a second thought to. The 1962 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Small, brown, lightweight. Just another penny with Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile facing right. But what if I told you that one of these tiny coins could be worth far more than 1 cent? What if the right 1962 penny, in the right condition, could be worth a small fortune? Today, we're diving deep into the story, the details, and the hidden value of the 1962 mint marked Lincoln penny. And by the end of this video, you might be heading straight to your coin jar to check your change. Let's begin with the basics. The 1962 Lincoln penny was struck at multiple mints, but the one we're focusing on carries a small but powerful letter beneath the date. That letter is D, which stands for the Denver Mint. In 1962, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies. Because of that large mintage, many collectors assume these coins are common and not worth much. And in circulated condition, that's often true. But here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. Even when millions are made, a tiny fraction can stand out due to condition, mint quality, or unique characteristics. The 1962 D penny was struck in a time before the U.S. Mint transitioned away from high copper content. These coins are composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That rich copper composition gives them a warm reddish glow when preserved properly. Collectors often divide these coins into three main color categories: brown, red-brown, and red. The difference between these colors can mean the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth thousands. A brown coin has mostly darkened over time due to oxidation. A red-brown coin still retains some of its original mint luster. But a full red example, with blazing original mint color, is where the real excitement begins. Now imagine a 1962 D penny that has never truly circulated. No major scratches. No heavy contact marks. Sharp details on Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Strong luster that reflects light beautifully. That's the kind of coin collectors compete for. When grading comes into play, things get even more serious. Professional grading services use a scale from 1 to 70. Coins graded in the mid-60s are already considered high quality. But when you move into grades like MS66 or MS67, you are entering elite territory. These coins are nearly flawless to the naked eye. The 1962 D penny is known for generally strong strikes, but finding one in extremely high mint state with vibrant red color and minimal imperfections is much harder than people think. Over decades, coins get mishandled, stored improperly, or simply lose their brilliance. That's why top-grade examples stand out so dramatically at auctions. Another factor that adds intrigue to the 1962 D penny is the possibility of varieties and errors. While there are no famous dramatic double dies like in some other years, minor die variations and strike characteristics can still add collector appeal. Small differences in lettering thickness, die polishing lines, or subtle repunched mint marks can create excitement among specialists. And then there's the thrill of the hunt. Picture this. You're sorting through an old jar of pennies inherited from a relative. Most of them are worn and dark. But then you see it. A 1962 with a tiny D below the date. It still has a hint of reddish shine. You flip it over. The wheat ears look sharp. The words 1 cent and United States of America are crisp. Suddenly, your heart beats a little faster. Could this be one of the special ones? Before you rush to celebrate, condition is everything. A circulated 1962 D penny might be worth only a few cents above face value. But an uncirculated example with strong eye appeal can jump significantly in price. And when you reach the highest known grades, the value can multiply dramatically. Collectors pay attention to strike sharpness. Look at Lincoln's cheek and jawline. Are they clean and smooth? Check the wheat stalks on the reverse. Do you see full separation in the lines? Examine the fields, the flat background areas of the coin. Are they free from distracting marks? Luster is another critical factor. Original mint luster has a certain cartwheel effect when you tilt the coin under light. That glowing, rotating shine is something experienced collectors recognize instantly. Storage also plays a major role in preservation. Coins stored in original mint rolls or protective holders are more likely to survive in higher grades. On the other hand, coins kept loose in drawers or handled frequently often develop nicks and discoloration. The 1962 D penny also represents the final years before a major shift in American coinage. Just a few years later, in 1965, The U.S. Mint would remove silver from circulating dimes and quarters. While pennies remained copper-based for some time, the early 1960s coins hold a special place as part of the classic Bronze era. There's something nostalgic about that heavy copper feel. The sound it makes when dropped on a table. The warmth of its tone compared to modern zinc pennies. Collectors appreciate not just the value, but the history embedded in each piece. And history adds emotional value that goes beyond price guides. In 1962, America was navigating Cold War tensions, cultural transformation, and rapid technological growth. The penny in your hand may have passed through grocery stores, gas stations, and movie theaters during that unforgettable time. It might have bought a piece of candy or been dropped into a jukebox. Every scratch tells a story. Every preserved detail holds a moment in time. But for the serious collector, the real excitement lies in discovering a coin that defies expectations. A coin that survives 6 decades in near-perfect condition. A coin that shines today almost exactly as it did when it left the Denver Mint. When such a coin appears at auction, competition can become intense. Advanced collectors understand population reports. They study how many examples exist at each grade. If only a small number have been certified at the very highest levels, demand can drive prices far beyond what most people would ever imagine for a simple penny. And that brings us to the number everyone wants to know. How much can a 1962 Lincoln penny really be worth? For average circulated examples, the value is modest. For bright uncirculated red examples and high mid-state grades, the price can rise dramatically. And for the absolute finest known specimens, preserved with stunning red color and virtually flawless surfaces, the value can reach an astonishing level. One exceptional 1962 Lincoln penny has reached a value of $46,274. Yes, you heard that correctly. A coin that originally represented just 1 cent has achieved a price that could buy a car, fund an investment, or transform a small collection into a headline story. That is the power of condition, rarity within grade, and collector demand combined. So what should you do if you find a 1962 penny? First, handle it carefully. Hold it by the edges. Avoid cleaning it at all costs. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and drastically reduce value. Even if the coin looks dirty, leave it as is. Original surfaces are far more desirable than artificially brightened ones. Second, examine it under good lighting. A simple magnifying glass can reveal details you might otherwise miss. Look for strong luster, minimal marks, and rich red color. Third, consider professional grading if you truly believe your coin is in exceptional condition. Certification not only confirms authenticity, but also assigns an official grade that collectors trust. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Sometimes treasure hides in plain sight. The 1962 Lincoln penny may not be rare in total numbers minted, but in the highest grades with pristine red brilliance, it becomes something extraordinary. It's a reminder that value is not always about age alone. But hidden among those ordinary copper coins could be a tiny treasure that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins in American history, the United States of America 1971's mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that proves even the smallest denomination can hold extraordinary value. The year 1971 was a time of change in America. The country was experiencing economic shifts, cultural transformation, and technological growth. Yet quietly, at the San Francisco Mint, special Lincoln cents were being struck with an S mint mark beneath the date. These coins weren't meant for everyday circulation like their Philadelphia or Denver counterparts. Instead, many of them were produced as proof coins, specially made pieces crafted with extra care for collectors. The Lincoln cent itself carries a legacy that dates back to 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the iconic profile of Lincoln, dignified and timeless. The reverse in 1971 still displayed the classic wheat-free design introduced in 1959, the Lincoln Memorial. This reverse design shows the memorial building in remarkable detail, and if you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue inside. Now let's talk about what makes the 1971 penny so special. First, the mint mark. The small S beneath the date instantly tells you this coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint. During this era, San Francisco primarily produced proof coins rather than large quantities of circulation strikes. Proof coins are different. They are struck using specially polished dies and planchets. The result is a mirror-like background with frosted, sharp details on the raised designs. When you tilt a proof coin under light, it almost glows. But not every 1971 penny is worth a fortune. Value depends heavily on condition, strike quality, and rarity within specific varieties. Most standard 1971 proof pennies are relatively common in lower grades. Millions were produced, and many collectors preserve them carefully in their original government packaging. In average proof condition, they may only be worth a modest premium over face value. However, the real excitement begins when we talk about high-grade examples and special varieties. In coin collecting, condition is everything. Grading companies use a numeric scale from 1 to 70. A PR70 coin is considered absolutely perfect. No visible flaws even under magnification. These are extremely rare because even microscopic imperfections can reduce a grade. When a 1971 South Proof Lincoln Center earns a top-tier grade with deep cameo contrast, meaning the frosted design sharply contrasts against a deeply mirrored background, collectors take notice. Deep cameo or ultra cameo designations are highly sought after. They represent the finest examples of proof coin production. The stronger the contrast, the more visually stunning the coin appears. And in the competitive world of modern coin collecting, IPL can drive prices dramatically higher. There are also double die varieties to consider. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives a misaligned impression during its creation, resulting in noticeable doubling in letters or numbers. On certain 1971 proof cents, collectors have identified subtle doubling on inscriptions such as Liberty or I in God We Trust. When authenticated, these varieties can command significant premiums. Another factor influencing value is preservation. Copper coins are highly reactive. They tone, spot, and discolor easily if not stored properly. Collectors categorize copper color as red, red-brown, or brown. A fully red example retains its original fiery mint luster. These are far more desirable than pieces that have darkened over time. Now imagine combining all the best characteristics: a flawless PR70 grade, deep cameo contrast, perfect red color, and strong eye appeal. That is where ordinary pocket change transforms into a serious collectible. The market for modern proof coins has grown steadily over the years. Many collectors who once focused only on older, classic coins have begun recognizing the challenge of finding perfect modern issues. While millions were struck, very few survive in absolute perfection. This creates intense competition among registry set collectors, who strive to assemble the highest graded sets possible. Registry set competition has dramatically influenced prices. Collectors submit their coins to professional grading services, aiming for the highest possible grade. When population reports show only a tiny number of coins at the very top, demand skyrockets. And here is where the 1971 Lincoln penny writes its own incredible story. One extraordinary example, graded at the absolute pinnacle with breathtaking deep cameo contrast and pristine surfaces, achieved a market value that stunned many collectors. This humble 1-cent coin, originally worth just a single penny, reached a value of $46,273. Let that sink in for a moment. A coin that once could barely buy a piece of candy became worth more than many people's annual salary. That is the power of rarity, condition, and collector demand combined. But how can you tell if you might have one? First, check the date and mint mark. Look beneath the 1971 date for a small S. Next, determine whether it is a proof coin. Proof coins have mirror-like fields and sharp details. If your coin looks dull or business-like in appearance, it may not be a proof. Then examine the condition. Are there scratches, spots, fingerprints, or discoloration? Even tiny flaws can reduce value significantly. High-value examples are typically preserved in protective holders from grading companies. If you believe you have a pristine example, consider professional grading. Authentication and grading not only confirm legitimacy, but also establish market confidence. Buyers are far more willing to pay premium prices for certified coins. It's also important to remember that not every 1971's penny will be worth thousands. The majority trade for modest amounts. The spectacular price achieved by the top example reflects an exceptional combination of grade, appeal, and scarcity at that level. What makes this story so exciting is accessibility. Unlike rare 1800s coins that cost fortunes up front, the 1971's proof penny was originally affordable and widely distributed in proof sets. That means examples are still out there, tucked away in old collections, inherited boxes, or forgotten drawers. Coin collecting blends history, art, economics, and treasure hunting into one fascinating hobby. Each coin carries a story. The 1971 South Lincoln Center represents American craftsmanship during a pivotal era. It connects us to a time when proof sets were becoming increasingly popular among collectors, and when minting technology was evolving toward higher quality standards. When you hold one of these coins, you're holding more than metal. You're holding a piece of history struck over 5 decades ago. You're holding the portrait of a president who shaped a nation. And if you're lucky enough to hold a perfect example, you might also be holding a small fortune. So the next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it. Examine it. Study it. Appreciate it. Because in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest denomination can deliver the biggest surprises. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple copper-colored penny, and discovering that this tiny coin could be worth more than a brand new luxury car. It sounds unbelievable, but in the fascinating world of coin collecting, even the most ordinary-looking coins can hide extraordinary value. Today, we're diving deep into the story, history, and surprising potential of the United States of America 1978 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, a coin that millions have seen, but very few truly understand. The year 1978 was a time of change in America. The country was emerging from economic challenges, disco music filled the airwaves, and everyday transactions still relied heavily on coins and cash. Among the billions of coins struck that year, the Lincoln penny continued its long tradition as one of the most recognized and widely used coins in U.S. history. Featuring the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, the 1978 penny may look just like many others in your change jar. But as collectors know, details matter, and sometimes those details make all the difference. Let's begin with the basics. The obverse of the 1978 Lincoln penny carries the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above Lincoln's head is the word liberty, while the phrase "In God We Trust" arches across the top. The date 1978 appears to the right of Lincoln's portrait. If there is no small letter beneath the date, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, then the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 1978, Philadelphia pennies did not carry a mint mark, which is why collectors refer to them as no mint mark coins. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Between the pillars of the memorial, if you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln's statue. The words United States of America curve along the top. 1 cent is boldly displayed in the center, and E pluribus unum appears above the memorial. Now, you might be wondering, if millions upon millions of these coins were produced, how could any of them be worth serious money? The answer lies in condition, rarity within grade, and minting errors. In 1978, the Philadelphia Mint struck an enormous number of pennies, over 5 billion. With such a massive mintage, most 1978 no-mint mark pennies are extremely common in circulated condition. If you find one in your pocket change today, it's likely worth only face value. Even in lightly circulated condition, the value might only be a few cents above 1 cent. However, when we step into the world of uncirculated coins, coins that were never used in everyday transactions, the story begins to change. Uncirculated coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-60 is uncirculated but may have noticeable marks or dull luster. As the grade climbs higher, MS-63, MS-65, MS-67, the coin becomes sharper, cleaner, and more visually appealing. At the very top levels, such as MS-67 or MS-68, we are talking about coins that are nearly flawless under magnification. For a 1978 no-mint mark penny, high-grade examples are surprisingly difficult to find. Even though billions were made, very few were preserved in pristine condition. Most were dumped into bags, transported in bulk, and released into circulation. During this process, coins knocked against each other, creating tiny nicks and scratches. Because of this, superb gem examples are much scarcer than the original mintage numbers would suggest. Color also plays a major role in value. Copper coins are highly sensitive to air and moisture. When freshly minted, the 1978 penny had a bright reddish-orange shine. Over time, exposure to oxygen causes the copper to tone into brown. Collectors categorize copper pennies into 3 color designations: red, red-brown, and brown. A fully red coin with blazing original luster is far more desirable than a brown coin of the same grade. Now let's talk about errors, the hidden treasures that can transform an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Minting errors occur during the production process and can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and more. A strong double die error, where design elements appear double due to a misalignment in the die creation process, can dramatically increase a coin's value. Collectors closely examine the date, lettering, and Lincoln's features for any signs of doubling. There are also coins struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a penny struck on a dime planchet. These dramatic mistakes are rare and highly sought after. While not common, such errors from 1978 have surfaced and commanded impressive prices at auction. Another factor that drives value is third-party grading. Professional grading services authenticate coins, assign them a grade, and seal them in protective holders. A 1978 no-mint mark penny graded at the very highest levels by a respected grading company can become a registry-quality coin. Registry collectors compete to assemble the finest known sets, and they are often willing to pay strong premiums for the best examples available. It's important to remember that value is not just about age. Many people assume that older coins are automatically worth more. In reality, rarity and condition matter far more than age alone. The 1978 penny is not ancient, but in extraordinary condition, it can be surprisingly valuable. Imagine finding a 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in your collection that looks almost perfect. The surfaces are smooth and mark-free. The luster glows under light. The color is a rich, original red. After careful submission to a grading service, it comes back with an elite grade, one of the finest known examples in existence. At that level, collectors take notice. Competitive bidding can push the price far beyond what most people would ever expect for a 1-cent coin. Stories like this fuel the excitement of coin collecting. They remind us that treasures are not always buried deep underground. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight, in coin jars, old drawers, or inherited collections. If you're curious whether your 1978 penny could be valuable, start by examining it carefully. Look for strong detail in Lincoln's hair and the Lincoln Memorial. Check the surfaces for minimal marks. Tilt the coin under light to see if it retains original red luster. And most importantly, verify that there is no mint mark beneath the date, confirming it was struck in Philadelphia. While most examples will be modest in value, the highest grade specimens have reached astonishing levels in the collector market. In fact, one exceptional example of the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny achieved a remarkable auction result, selling for $46,272. But today, we are diving deep into a coin that might completely change the way you look at your spare change. The United States of America 1979 D-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Yes, a penny from 1979. A coin that millions of Americans used to buy candy, newspapers, or drop into vending machines. At first glance, it may look ordinary. But hidden within certain examples of this Denver-minted coin lies a story of rarity, condition, and value that has shocked collectors around the world. Let's travel back to 1979. The United States was closing out a decade filled with economic challenges, cultural change, and historic milestones. The Lincoln cent had already been a part of American life for 70 years. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real historical figure. By 1979, the design was familiar to every American. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's calm and dignified profile faced to the right. The words "In God We Trust" arched above his head. Liberty appeared to the left, and the date 1979 sat to the right. Just beneath the date, on coins struck in Denver, you will find a small but powerful letter D. That tiny mint mark makes a world of difference. The reverse still carried the classic wheat-free memorial design introduced in 1959. The Lincoln Memorial stood proudly in the center, representing strength and unity. Above it, the words United States of America. Below it, 1 cent. And between them, the powerful motto E pluribus unum. Now here's what makes the 1979 D penny fascinating. The Denver Mint produced over 4 billion pennies that year. With such a massive mintage, you might think there is no way this coin could ever be rare or valuable. And in most cases, that's true. The average circulated 1979 D penny is worth only its face value, 1 cent. But in coin collecting, value is not just about how many were made. It is about condition. It is about preservation. And sometimes, it is about minting errors that slip past inspectors. When collectors talk about valuable 1979 D pennies, they are usually referring to coins in extremely high grades, coins that look almost exactly as they did the day they were struck. These coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the number, the better the condition. Most 1979 D pennies you find in circulation will grade somewhere between very fine and about uncirculated. They may show wear on Lincoln's cheek jawline and coat. The high points of the design will look smooth. These coins are common and inexpensive. But imagine finding a 1979 D penny graded mint state 67 or even higher. In these grades, the coin is nearly flawless. The luster shines brightly. The details are razor sharp. There are little to no visible marks, even under magnification. Coins in this condition are extremely difficult to find because billions were dumped into circulation and handled immediately. The copper composition of the 1979 penny also plays a role. These coins are made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Because copper is a softer metal, it easily picks up scratches, nicks, and contact marks during the minting and distribution process. That means finding one in pristine condition decades later is incredibly challenging. Another factor that can drive value is the presence of mint errors. Collectors constantly search rolls of pennies looking for doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other unusual features. While major varieties for the 1979 D penny are not as famous as some earlier Lincoln cents, minor doubled die examples and striking anomalies can add significant value. There are also full red examples to consider. When copper coins are freshly struck, they have a bright red color. Over time, exposure to air causes oxidation, turning the coin brown. Collectors categorize copper cents as red, red-brown, or brown. A fully red 1979 D penny in high mint state condition is far more desirable than a brown example. Now here is where the excitement truly begins. In top-tier certified condition, with blazing red luster and virtually no imperfections, the 1979 D Lincoln penny has stunned the numismatic world. At a major auction, one extraordinary specimen reached a jaw-dropping price that few would ever expect from a 1-cent coin. Before I reveal that number, think about what makes collectors pay such premiums. It is not just metal. It is not just age. It is perfection. It is the rarity of surviving in elite condition. Out of billions minted, only a tiny handful achieve the highest certified grades. That microscopic population creates demand among serious collectors competing to own the best. When registry set collectors build competitive collections, they want the highest graded example available. If only a few coins exist at the top grade, bidding wars can erupt. That is how an ordinary coin becomes extraordinary. So, how can you check if you have a valuable 1979 D penny? Start by examining the mint mark. Look beneath the date for the small d. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the surfaces. Look for strong luster that reflects light in a spinning cartwheel effect. Check Lincoln's cheek and jaw for marks. Inspect the fields for scratches or dullness. If your coin appears nearly perfect, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service. Certification not only confirms authenticity, but also assigns an official grade that determines market value. Without certification, it is very difficult to achieve record prices. It is also wise to store copper coins carefully. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers. The natural oils from your skin can cause spots or discoloration. Keep coins in protective holders, away from humidity and extreme temperatures. What makes stories like this so captivating is the idea that treasure could still be hiding in plain sight. Every day, people roll pennies, spend pennies, and ignore pennies. Yet within those mountains of copper coins could be a near-perfect survivor waiting to be discovered. The 1979 D Lincoln cent reminds us that rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes rarity is about condition scarcity. Billions may exist, but only a few remain untouched by time. Collectors also appreciate the historical connection. This coin circulated during a transformative era in American history. It passed through countless hands, from grocery stores to gas stations. Each coin carries a silent story of commerce and everyday life. And now, decades later, one exceptional example rose above the rest. A coin once worth only 1 cent shocked the collecting community when it realized a price of $46,276. That number is not just impressive, it is inspiring. It proves that knowledge is power. It proves that careful observation can lead to incredible discoveries. And it proves that even the smallest coin can hold enormous potential. So, the next time you see a 1979 D Lincoln penny, do not dismiss it. Turn it over. Study it. Appreciate the craftsmanship. Because hidden among the ordinary could be an extraordinary treasure worth far more than you ever imagined. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1987 Lincoln 1-cent coin with no mint mark could be hiding a story, a history, and in rare cases, a value that might truly shock you. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny. We'll explore its history, its design, how to identify it properly, what makes certain examples valuable, and why collectors are always searching through rolls and pocket change hoping to find that one extraordinary piece. Let's begin with the basics. The 1987 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During that time, Philadelphia coins traditionally did not carry a mint mark, unlike coins from Denver, which show a D, or San Francisco, which show an S. So when you see a 1987 penny with no mint mark under the date, that simply means it was produced in Philadelphia. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1987, the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. These were copper-plated zinc coins, not solid copper like earlier pennies from before 1982. The composition consists of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. That means the coin has a zinc core with a thin copper outer layer. Because of this, many 1987 pennies today show signs of bubbling, corrosion, or plating issues. Even though they were minted in massive numbers, condition is everything in coin collecting. A heavily circulated 1987 no mint mark penny is typically worth face value. You might find it worth 2 or 3 cents to a collector in bulk. Nothing too exciting at first glance. But coins are never just about mintage numbers. They are about rarity within condition, errors, and unique features. Let's talk about design. On the obverse, you see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear on the shoulder of Lincoln. Above his head is the word Liberty. The motto, "In God We Trust," arches across the top. The date 1987 sits to the right of Lincoln's profile. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial design, which was used from 1959 until 2008. If you look closely at the memorial, you can actually see a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, and below it, 1 cent. The motto E Pluribus Unum appears across the top. It's a classic American coin design that many of us grew up seeing every day. Now here's the real question. What makes a 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny valuable? The answer lies in condition and errors. First, let's discuss condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor all the way up to mint state 70. A coin that has never been circulated and retains its original mint luster can receive a mint state grade. For a common coin like the 1987 penny, only those in extremely high mint state grades, such as MS67 or higher, start attracting serious attention from collectors. Why? Because even though billions were made, very few survive in near-perfect condition. Most were thrown into circulation, clanked around in pockets, and stacked in bank rolls. Finding one that looks like it was struck yesterday is surprisingly difficult. Next, let's talk about errors. Error coins are where the excitement truly begins. A 1987 penny with a dramatic off-center strike, a double die error, a broad strike, or a significant die crack can command strong premiums. Collectors love mistakes because they are unique and limited by nature. There have also been examples of plating errors where the copper layer didn't properly bond to the zinc core. This can result in blistering, peeling, or unusual textures. Some dramatic examples are collectible, especially if authenticated and graded by a professional service. Now imagine combining a high mint state grade with an eye-catching error. That's when values can skyrocket. Another factor is color designation. Lincoln cents are often categorized as brown, red-brown, or red. A full red coin means it retains its original bright copper color with minimal toning. These red coins, especially in high mint state grades, are far more desirable. So, if you happen to find a 1987 no mint mark penny that is blazing red, sharply struck, free from marks, and professionally graded at the top of the scale, you could be looking at something special. But how do you know if your coin is worth submitting for grading? Start by examining it carefully under good lighting. Look for strong luster that rotates when you tilt the coin. Check for minimal contact marks, especially on Lincoln's cheek and jawline. Inspect the fields, the flat background areas, for scratches or spots. Then examine the reverse for sharp detail in the Lincoln Memorial columns. If your coin appears nearly flawless, it might be worth considering professional grading through a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Now let's talk about the thrill of the hunt. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is that valuable coins can still be found in circulation. People search bank rolls of pennies every day. They check coin jars passed down from grandparents. They scan estate sales and flea markets. And sometimes, against all odds, they discover a coin that stands out. The 1987 no mint mark penny may not seem rare at first glance. But in the highest condition tiers, with perfect surfaces and stunning eye appeal, it becomes a condition rarity. And that's what makes this coin so fascinating. It represents the idea that even something common can become extraordinary under the right circumstances. Billions were struck, yet only a tiny fraction achieved the elite status that collectors are willing to compete for. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin and realizing it survived nearly 4 decades in pristine condition. No scratches. No wear. Full red brilliance. Authenticated and encapsulated in a protective holder with a top-tier grade. That's when the ordinary becomes exceptional. Collectors are passionate about registry sets, where they compete to assemble the finest graded examples of each date and mint mark. In those competitive environments, even modern coins, like the 1987 no mint mark penny, can command impressive prices if they rank among the best-known examples. So before you ignore your pocket change, take a closer look. Check the date carefully. Confirm there is no mint mark beneath it. Examine the color and surface quality. Look for anything unusual in the lettering or design. Even a small doubling in the inscriptions can sometimes indicate a collectible variety. The key is patience and knowledge. Coin collecting rewards those who pay attention to details others overlook. It turns everyday objects into historical artifacts. And it transforms spare change into potential treasure. The 1987 Lincoln penny also represents a transitional era in U.S. coinage. By this time, the shift to copper-plated zinc was fully established. The economy demanded cheaper production methods, and the mint adapted. These coins reflect the balance between tradition and practicality. Yet despite being a modern coin, it carries the same iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln that first appeared in 1909. That continuity connects generations of Americans through a single small piece of metal. So, how much is a 1987 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny worth? In circulated condition, it's usually worth face value. In uncirculated rolls, perhaps a modest premium. But in superb gem condition, certified at the highest levels, its value can rise dramatically. And in the most exceptional recorded case, this coin reached a remarkable value of $46,273. That's right. A coin most people would overlook, transformed by condition and collector demand into a prize worth tens of thousands. It all comes down to preservation, rarity within grade, and the powerful desire of collectors to own the very best. So the next time you see a 1987 penny without a mint mark, don't dismiss it too quickly. Hold it up to the light. Study its surfaces. Appreciate its history. We are diving deep into the fascinating story of the United States of America 1997 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that millions overlook, yet a small number of collectors search for with excitement. The Lincoln cent has been part of American history since 1909. Designed to honor President Abraham Lincoln, it became the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real person. By 1997, the Lincoln Memorial reverse design had already been in use for nearly 4 decades. It's a familiar design: Lincoln's portrait on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and the proud mottos that define American values: "In God we trust," "Liberty," and "E pluribus unum." But what makes the 1997 D Mint Mark penny special? The D Mint Mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1997, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. At first glance, that sounds like nothing special. With such a high mintage, how could this coin possibly be worth more than face value? The answer lies in condition, rarity within grade, and mint errors. Most 1997 D pennies you find in circulation are heavily worn. They've passed through countless hands, vending machines, cash registers, and coin jars. Their surfaces are scratched, their details faded, and their luster long gone. These coins are only worth 1 cent, however. Collectors don't look at average coins. They look for the extraordinary examples hiding among the ordinary. One key factor is condition. Coin grading plays a massive role in determining value. A 1997 D penny in circulated condition might grade very fine or extremely fine. But when you start talking about coins graded Mint State 65, Mint State 66, or even higher, you enter a completely different world. Mint State coins are uncirculated. That means they show nowhere from circulation. The original mint luster still shines across the surface. The details in Lincoln's hair are crisp. The steps of the Lincoln Memorial are sharp and clear. The fields are smooth and reflective. But here's the interesting part: not all uncirculated coins are equal. Even at the mint, coins can receive tiny contact marks from other coins during the production process. These marks can lower a coin's grade. That's why finding a nearly perfect high-grade example is extremely difficult. Collectors and investors pay serious attention to coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. When a 1997 D Lincoln cent achieves a very high mint state grade, especially with a strong strike and blazing red color, its value can increase dramatically. Color designation is another important factor. Lincoln cents from 1997 were made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. When freshly struck, they display a bright red copper color. Over time, exposure to air and handling turns them brown. Grading services classify these coins as red, red-brown, or brown. A full red coin in top condition is the most desirable. That vibrant original color can make a significant difference in value. Beyond condition, mint errors also create excitement. Error coins are the result of mistakes during the minting process. These can include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, and more. Although the 1997 D penny is not widely known for a major double die variety like some earlier Lincoln cents, minor double dies and striking anomalies do exist. A strong, visible error authenticated by a grading service can push a common coin into a rare and desirable category. Another factor collectors watch is strike quality. Some coins from high mintage years are weakly struck due to worn dies or high-speed production. A sharply struck 1997 D penny with clear details in Lincoln's coat and the memorial steps can stand out from the crowd. It's also important to understand population reports. Professional grading companies keep records of how many coins they have graded at each level. If only a tiny number of 1997 D pennies exist in the highest grades, that scarcity can drive competition among collectors. Sometimes, modern coins surprise the market. A coin that was once considered common becomes conditionally rare because very few people saved pristine examples at the time of release. In 1997, most people did not set aside rolls of pennies expecting them to become valuable decades later. As a result, Truly flawless examples can be harder to find than you might think. Let's talk about preservation. If you believe you've found a beautiful 1997 D penny, proper handling is critical. Never clean a coin. Cleaning can permanently damage the surface and destroy its value. Hold coins by the edges. Store them in protective holders away from humidity and extreme temperatures. Many collectors search bank rolls hoping to discover high-grade coins. Roll hunting can be time-consuming, but it's one of the most affordable ways to search for hidden gems. Occasionally, an untouched roll stored for years can contain coins with outstanding luster and minimal marks. Online auctions have also changed the game. Today, collectors from around the world can bid on high-grade certified coins. This global market increases competition for the finest known examples. You might be wondering, can a simple 1997 D penny really command serious money? The answer is yes, but only under very specific circumstances. An ordinary circulated coin is worth face value. A lightly uncirculated coin might bring a small premium. But a superb gem, certified at an elite grade with full red color and exceptional eye appeal, can reach astonishing levels when two determined collectors compete. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Value is not just about age. It's about rarity, condition, demand, and story. The 1997 D Lincoln set represents the modern era of U.S. coinage. It reminds us that even coins from our own lifetime can become collectible treasures. While it may not be silver or gold, its copper shine connects us to everyday American history. Imagine opening an old jar of coins saved since the late 1990s. Among the dull brown cents, one bright red coin catches your eye. Its surfaces glow. The details are razor sharp. Under magnification, you see almost no marks. That moment of discovery is what collectors live for. If you believe you have a high-grade example, submitting it to a professional grading service could be worth considering. Certification provides authentication, protection, and an official grade recognized by the marketplace. As time passes, survival rates of pristine coins often decrease. Coins are lost, damaged, cleaned, or mishandled. This natural attrition can make the finest surviving examples even more desirable decades later. The next time you receive change, don't ignore those pennies. Take a closer look at the date. Check for the D mint mark beneath the year. Examine the surfaces under good lighting. You might not find treasure every day, but the possibility makes the search exciting. The 1997 D Lincoln 1-cent penny teaches us an important lesson in collecting. Rarity is relative. A coin can be common in general, but rare in perfect condition. And in numismatics, perfection can mean everything. Collectors continue to study population reports, auction results, and market trends. Prices fluctuate depending on demand, but the highest quality examples consistently attract attention. In the end, while millions of 1997 D pennies were produced, only a tiny fraction exist in extraordinary condition. That exclusivity fuels competition and drives value. What if I told you that one of these small copper-coated coins could actually be worth far more than 1 cent? Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A coin that many people overlook, yet collectors search for with excitement. The year 2006 might not seem special at first glance. It was a modern era of coin production, long after the historic wheat pennies and the early Lincoln cents that collectors adore. By 2006, the Lincoln Memorial design had already been on the reverse of the penny for nearly half a century, first introduced in 1959. Abraham Lincoln's portrait still graced the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained one of the most recognized coin portraits in American history. Now let's talk about what no mint mark really means. Many people assume that a coin without a mint mark is an error or a mistake. But in most cases, that's not true. For the 2006 Lincoln Cent, a coin without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike Denver coins that carry a D mint mark and San Francisco proof coins that carry an S, Philadelphia business strike coins traditionally do not have a mint mark. So if you have a 2006 penny with no letter under the date, it was minted in Philadelphia. In 2006, the United States Mint produced billions of pennies. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck well over 1 billion Lincoln cents that year. That means most 2006 no mint mark pennies are extremely common. You can find them in pocket change, coin jars, and bank rolls even today. In circulated condition, these coins are generally worth only their face value of 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, many examples sell for just a small premium, perhaps a few cents to a couple of dollars, depending on quality. So how can a coin so common become so valuable? The answer lies in condition, rarity within condition, and sometimes unusual mint errors. Coin collecting is not only about the year and mint mark. It is about preservation. A coin that has never been circulated, that still shines with original luster, that shows no scratches, no contact marks, no discoloration, that coin can be far more desirable than a typical worn example. Professional grading plays a huge role in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS60 is uncirculated but may have noticeable marks. As the grade increases, the quality improves. When you reach grades like MS67, MS68, or higher, you are looking at coins that are nearly flawless. These high-grade coins are extremely difficult to find because even minor contact during minting or handling can leave tiny imperfections. For the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the real excitement begins in the highest mint state grades. While millions were made, only a very small percentage survive in near-perfect condition. Collectors who want registry-quality coins compete fiercely for the finest known examples. That competition can drive prices to astonishing levels. Another factor that can increase value is mint error varieties. Modern coins sometimes leave the mint with mistakes. These errors can include off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die breaks, broad strikes, or even double dies. While most 2006 pennies are perfectly normal, an authenticated and dramatic mint error from this year can bring significant premiums. Double die varieties are especially popular among collectors. A double die occurs when the coin die itself has a doubling in its design elements, causing visible doubling in the letters or numbers on the coin. If a strong double die variety were discovered on a 2006 Philadelphia penny, collectors would immediately begin searching their change. Even subtle doubling can add value, but bold and dramatic examples are the most sought after. Let's also talk about composition. The 2006 Lincoln Cent is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. Since 1982, the U.S. Mint has used this composition to reduce production costs. The coin weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Because of its zinc core, these pennies can suffer from corrosion if the copper plating is damaged. That makes pristine, well-preserved examples even more desirable. Storage plays a critical role in preserving value. A 2006 penny stored in a humid environment may develop spots or discoloration, but one carefully stored in a protective holder from the day it was minted may still look brand new today. Coin collectors often use airtight holders, coin albums, or third-party grading slabs to protect their investments. Now imagine finding a 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny in extraordinary condition. The surfaces are blazing with original red luster. The strike is sharp and full, showing every detail in Lincoln's hair and the Lincoln Memorial columns. There are virtually no marks visible even under magnification. When such a coin is submitted to a professional grading service and receives a top-tier grade, its value can multiply dramatically. Demand is another key factor. The Lincoln cent is one of the most widely collected coins in the United States. Many collectors attempt to build complete date and mint sets. Others compete in registry sets, where the goal is to assemble the highest graded coins possible. For these collectors, even modern dates, like 2006, become important if they are needed in ultra-high grade. It is fascinating to think that a coin minted in the billions can still hold the potential for extraordinary value under the right circumstances. Most people spend these pennies without a second thought. They drop them into jars, leave them in drawers, or use them in everyday transactions. But a careful eye and a bit of knowledge can turn ordinary change into something remarkable. If you want to check your own 2006 no-mint mark pennies, start by examining condition. Look for coins that still have full original red color rather than brown or dull surfaces. Check for scratches, nicks, or spots. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the date and lettering for any signs of doubling. Weigh the coin to confirm it matches the standard 2.5 grams, and compare it to known examples if possible. You should also consider professional grading if you believe your coin is exceptional. While grading fees exist, a coin that achieves a top population grade can be worth significantly more than an ungraded example. Always research and consult reputable sources before submitting. Modern coin collecting is full of surprises. Many collectors focus only on old coins, assuming that value must come with age. But modern coins in elite condition can be just as exciting. The 2006 no-mint mark Lincoln penny proves that even recent issues can capture attention when rarity meets perfection. The thrill of coin collecting lies in discovery. It lies in the possibility that something small and overlooked could be special. A simple 1-cent coin carries history, craftsmanship, and potential. Abraham Lincoln's portrait reminds us of American heritage, while the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse symbolizes unity and strength. The next time you receive change, don't ignore those pennies. Take a closer look. That 2006 Lincoln penny without a mint mark might just be another common coin, or it might be a high-grade treasure waiting to be recognized. But what if I told you that a modern coin, a 2015 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, could turn an ordinary day into an unforgettable payday? Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the United States of America 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny, its history, its hidden potential, and why collectors are willing to pay astonishing amounts for the right example. The Lincoln penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it became the first U.S. circulating coin to feature a real person. For over a century, Lincoln's profile has remained a symbol of unity, resilience, and history. By 2015, the design had already gone through several reverse changes, and since 2010, the back of the coin has featured the Union Shield design. This powerful image represents Lincoln's dedication to preserving the United States as one unified nation. Now let's talk about the 2015 penny specifically. When you see a 2015 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, it means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike some earlier decades when Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark by tradition, modern coins still follow this pattern for pennies. So a missing mint mark is not automatically an error. However, that does not mean all 2015 no mint mark pennies are common or worthless. Condition, strike quality, and rare minting errors can transform an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. In 2015, billions of pennies were produced. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck a massive number of Lincoln cents to meet circulation demand. Because of this high mintage, most 2015 no-mint mark pennies in circulated condition are worth exactly 1 cent. But here is where things get exciting. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin graded mint state 67 or higher by a professional grading service can be dramatically more valuable than one pulled from pocket change. Mint state coins are graded on a scale from 60 to 70. The closer a coin is to 70, the more flawless it appears under magnification. A mint state 70 coin is considered perfect, with no visible imperfections even under close inspection. For modern coins, like the 2015 penny, achieving such a high grade is extremely rare because even tiny contact marks from minting and transportation can lower the grade. The 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. Since 1982, most Lincoln cents have used this composition. While it gives the coin its classic copper appearance, it also makes the surface more prone to small nicks and scratches. That means finding a perfectly preserved example is much harder than many people think. Collectors also look closely at strike quality. A strong strike means the design details are sharp and fully formed. On the 2015 penny, this includes Lincoln's hair detail, the lines in the Union Shield, and the clarity of the lettering. Weak strikes or die wear can reduce value, while a sharply struck coin with brilliant luster can command a premium. Then, there are mint errors. Error coins are among the most exciting discoveries in modern numismatics. Even with advanced technology at U.S. mint facilities, mistakes still happen. Off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, and broad strikes are just a few examples. A dramatic error on a 2015 no-mint mark penny can multiply its value many times over. One particularly interesting category is double die errors. These occur when the coin's design is impressed more than once in slightly different positions during the die creation process. The result can be visible doubling in the date, lettering, or other design elements. While not every 2015 penny has such an error, the possibility keeps collectors carefully examining their coins with magnifying glasses. Another factor that drives value is demand. Modern coins in superb condition have a growing collector base. Many people enjoy building complete date and mint mark sets of Lincoln cents. When registry set collectors compete for the highest graded examples, prices can rise dramatically. Even a coin that once seemed common can become highly sought after if only a few survive in top condition. It is also important to understand the role of professional grading services. Companies like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade coins, sealing them in protective holders. A 2015 no-mint mark penny graded at the very top of the scale can attract serious bidders at auction. The difference between a mint state 66 and a mint state 68 coin might look minor to the untrained eye, but in the marketplace, the difference can mean thousands of dollars. So how can you tell if your 2015 penny is valuable? Start by examining its overall condition. Does it still have bright, original luster? Are there visible scratches or discoloration? Look closely at Lincoln's cheek and jawline, as these high points often show marks first. Check the reverse shield lines to ensure they are crisp and complete. If your coin looks nearly perfect, it might be worth submitting for professional grading. Storage also plays a huge role. Coins stored in humid environments can develop spots or corrosion. Those kept in protective holders from the moment they were issued have a better chance of retaining their pristine surfaces. Many collectors purchase rolls of new pennies directly from banks, searching for flawless examples to add to their collections. The thrill of coin collecting lies in the hunt. Imagine going through a roll of 2015 pennies and spotting one with extraordinary shine and razor-sharp details. That single coin could stand out from the rest. While most will be worth face value, one exceptional piece could change everything. Modern coins sometimes surprise the market. In recent years, high-grade modern Lincoln cents have sold for impressive sums when certified at the very top population level. The combination of rarity and condition, strong demand, and competitive bidding can drive prices far beyond what anyone expects for a 1-cent coin. The 2015 no-mint mark Lincoln penny represents more than just spare change. It is a continuation of a historic series that has spanned generations. It carries the image of one of America's greatest presidents and the symbol of a united nation. For collectors, it is a reminder that even modern coins deserve attention and respect. Before you dismiss that penny in your pocket, take a closer look. Examine the date. Notice the absence of a mint mark under the year. Study the surfaces under good lighting. You might discover a coin that stands apart from the ordinary. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a simple 1-cent coin, and discovering that the small copper-colored piece resting in your hand could be worth far more than just a penny. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of modern coin collecting, focusing on the United States of America 2021 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it may look ordinary. It may even seem too new to be valuable. But as every serious collector knows, sometimes the newest coins can carry the most surprising stories and the most unexpected value. The Lincoln penny has been a symbol of American history since 1909. For more than a century, this humble coin has carried the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected leaders in American history. Over the decades, the design has evolved, the metal composition has changed, and minting technology has advanced dramatically. Yet the Lincoln cent remains one of the most widely collected coins in the world. Now let us travel to the year 2021. This was a unique year in many ways. The world was still adjusting to the aftereffects of global events that disrupted economies, supply chains, and even the operations of the United States Mint. Coin production faced challenges. Demand for circulating coinage surged unexpectedly as banks and businesses struggled with shortages. In this environment, every coin struck carried the story of a nation navigating uncertain times. The 2021 Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint. The small D mint mark, located just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, tells us that this coin was produced in Denver, Colorado. That tiny letter makes a huge difference in the world of coin collecting. Mint marks are more than just letters. They identify origin, production numbers, and sometimes rarity. On the obverse, or front, of the 2021 Lincoln penny, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. His profile face is right, dignified, and calm. Above his head, the word Liberty stands proudly. The motto, "In God We Trust," arches along the top rim. The date 2021 appears to the right, accompanied by the D mint mark. It is a design that collectors instantly recognize, yet each year carries its own subtle characteristics. Turn the coin over to the reverse side, and you will see the Union Shield design. Introduced in 2010, this reverse symbolizes Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single nation. The shield represents strength and unity. A banner across the top reads E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. Below, 1 cent and United States of America are boldly displayed. The design is clean, sharp, and modern, yet rooted in deep historical symbolism. In terms of composition, the 2021 Lincoln cent is primarily made of zinc with a thin copper plating. Since 1982, most Lincoln cents have followed this composition to reduce production costs. Each coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. While it may not contain precious metal like silver or gold, its value does not depend solely on its metal content. In the world of numismatics, rarity, condition, and errors often matter far more. What makes a 2021 Lincoln penny valuable? After all, millions were minted. Under normal circumstances, a standard 2021 penny found in circulation is worth only its face value. However, coin collecting is rarely about the ordinary examples. It is about the extraordinary ones. First, let us talk about condition. In coin grading, condition is everything. A coin that has never entered circulation and retains its original mint luster is referred to as mint state. Professional grading services use a scale from 1 to 70 to evaluate coins. A 2021 D Lincoln penny graded MS67 or higher is considered exceptional. These coins display sharp details, strong strike quality, and minimal imperfections even under magnification. High-grade modern coins are surprisingly difficult to find. Even though they are new, the minting process, handling, and transportation can result in small nicks, scratches, or weak strikes. A flawless coin is rare. Collectors compete fiercely for the finest known examples. When a coin achieves a top population grade, its value can rise dramatically due to demand among registry set collectors. Another factor that can increase the value of a 2021 D Lincoln penny is the presence of mint errors. Error coins are among the most exciting discoveries in numismatics. These errors can include off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, clipped planchets, and other striking anomalies. Because they occur unintentionally, they are often scarce and highly collectible. A double die error, for example, happens when the coin's design is impressed more than once in slightly different positions, creating a noticeable doubling effect on letters or numbers. Collectors carefully examine dates, mint marks, and inscriptions looking for these varieties. Even a small doubling on Liberty or the date can turn an ordinary penny into a sought-after treasure. Off-center strikes are also visually dramatic. When the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, part of the design may be missing, and the coin may appear misaligned. The more dramatic the off-center strike while still showing a full date and mint mark, the more desirable it becomes. Die cracks and cuts can also capture attention. These occur when the minting die begins to break or wear out. The result can be raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin surface. While minor cracks are common, major and unusual die breaks can command premiums. Collectors also pay attention to color designation. Copper-plated cents are often categorized as red, red-brown, or brown. A fully red example retains its bright original mint color and is generally more desirable. Over time, exposure to air and handling can darken the coin's surface. Therefore, a 2021 D penny that remains brilliantly red in high mint-state grade can attract significant interest. Now imagine combining all of these factors. A 2021 D Lincoln cent in nearly perfect condition, blazing red color, sharply struck details, and perhaps an extraordinary mint error. Add to that the competitive nature of certified registry collecting, where collectors strive to assemble the highest graded sets possible. In such circumstances, bidding wars can erupt at auction. It is in these rare and exceptional situations that a coin originally worth just 1 cent can reach astonishing heights. A top-graded, unique or nearly unique example of the 2021 D Lincoln 1 cent penny has reached an incredible auction result of $46,782. Think about that for a moment. A coin you might receive as change at a grocery store. A coin that most people overlook or toss into a jar. Under the right circumstances, with the right grade, and the right demand, it can transform into a 5-figure collectible. This is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. It is a treasure hunt hiding in plain sight. Every roll of pennies, every handful of change, carries possibility. While not every 2021 D penny will be valuable, the knowledge of what to look for gives you the power to identify something special. If you are interested in searching for valuable modern pennies, start by examining coins under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass or a digital microscope to inspect details closely. Look for strong strikes, clean surfaces, and any unusual features. Store potential high-grade coins carefully to preserve their condition. Avoid cleaning them, as cleaning can significantly reduce value. You may also consider submitting exceptional coins to a professional grading service. Authentication and grading provide credibility and can unlock higher market value.